Welcome to the Ancient Gear deck. How good are you? How good am I? I can let you fusion summon directly from the deck. Don't let me keep you waiting. Right this way. Welcome to the Ancient Gear deck. How good are you? I can search that guy. Yeah, so? And you. Oh, right this way, please. Hey, good looking. You can go right on in. Welcome to the Ancient Gear deck. How good are you? How good am I? How good am I? Alright, I understand. You go right on over there. Don't worry about this. Ah, phooey.
Hey guys, it's Oz from Casual Duelist channel here with
MechMan.
Woo! And we are back from our 2-month hiatus of school shit.
Filled with frivolities of eggnog and also mild depression with finals.
Extreme depression.
So now that that's over, it's about time we got back into the only deck that matters.
The only one that gets us the views.
Hey, Ancient Gears. I'm not gonna tell you how much I love this deck because who cares? I'm just gonna get right into it. So the whole point. This is the product of months of testing, and I believe this to be the absolute best version of Ancient Gears ever created.
Woo! Oh, go ahead and get into it.
Even if they needed a little bit of help. But, let's get right into it. So, first off, you want to play one copy of Reactor Dragon. He is the best beater in the whole deck. He can pop spells and traps. He's just good. Sadly, I'd love to play more than one copy of him, but you don't really need more than one copy anymore, and there's just no more room in the deck. Also, I'm pretty sure it was obvious from the intro, but this is using the new support, and the reason why I say that is because you also now use one copy of Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound, and 2 copies of regular old Ancient Gear Golem. Now, the reason why is because there's now a certain fusion spell card that makes these guys a necessity. I've seen some other versions that, try to trick the deck into sort of having an Ancient Gear Golem by using Prisma, but there's just not enough room in this deck. But he's amazing, and I love the new magic card because it makes Ancient Gear Golem a scary card to see again. If you are playing a guy with the new support and you bring out one of these, he should be scared. Unless he interrupts you, in which case he's laughing at this. But it's still a 3k body each way. The only problem is that it cannot be special summoned, but we have ways around that. Alright, next up is Masterpiece. We play one copy of him. Despite True Draco is really not doing much in the meta anymore, Masterpiece is still incredibly good, and by himself, I still think is one of the more oppressive cards in the entire game. So, you play him because he's rather good.
Pretty Gucci.
And the other reason why... and I'll get into this a little later, but Ancient Gears and True Dracos have a surprising amount of synergy, which I'll get to later when we talk about combos. Next, the only other True Draco card that you use is Ignis Heat. Sometimes you don't have enough continuous spells and traps for 2 tributes and you just want 1, and Ignis Heat is a good way to go. And he searches the rest of your True Draco cards, so he's good too. Alright, getting into the other monsters, we have 3 Ancient Gear Wyvern. If you don't know what he does, he searches your entire Ancient Gear archetype if he's normal or special summoned. Not much to say there. Stratos is always good. 1 Ancient Gear Box. He can search out other Ancient Gear monsters if they've got 500 attack or defense if he's added to your hand. He's really good. And you only need 1 copy. Then 2 new guys. This is Ancient Gear Frame. So he does... the one good thing that he does is that he is a second searcher for the deck. He can search out any card that lists Ancient Gear Golem in its card text, or Ancient Gear Golem himself. Also, when he attacks, they can't activate spell and traps, and if he's destroyed by card effects, you can summon up to 3 Ancient Gear Golem or Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pounds from your hand, ignoring their summoning conditions. This almost never happens, but if it does, it's hilarious. Then, we still play 3 copies of Ancient Gear Hunting Hound. I'm thinking maybe we can take this down to 2. This is a 41 card deck, and I don't know, I'm kind of torn. Thanks to the new spell, we have lots of ways to fusion summon, which is what this guy is. He's a walking polymerization. And now that we have that, and a new card to search it as well, you could probably cut this down to 2, but I like playing 3. He comes in handy more than enough. He also does 600 burn, which is really annoying to your opponent. Next up is any 3 hand traps. If I were you, I'd probably recommend a Maxi, a Ghost Ogre, and then a Spring Blossom. I just don't have that. I'm just using the hand traps that I use. I like having a diversity of hand traps, but just any 3 hand traps. I recommend 3 hand traps. That'll do it for the monster lineup. Getting into the spells and traps, we have the new fusion card, Ancient Gear Fusion. This acts like a normal polymerization, except it's searchable, which is great. But if you are using an Ancient Gear Golem that you control to fusion summon with, then you can fusion summon using cards from your deck. Now you have to use this guy, but Ancient Gear Fusion makes summoning out your bigger boss monsters incredibly easy, and it makes summoning out the new boss monster with all of his effects incredibly easy. This is great. It adds more consistency to the deck. It adds way more efficiency when it comes to fusion summoning because you don't have to use so many cards, and it's just the best new card. You only play 2 copies because it's so searchable. Next up, we have 3 copies of Gear Town. Oh, well, that's not a Gear Town. Where's the other Gear Town? There it is. It's the field spell. If it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon an Ancient Gear from hand, deck, or grave. It can miss timing, which is what sucks so hard about it. But
yeah, it's a win, not an if.
It's a win, not an if. Remember that. Well, there's something I wanted to say about that, but we'll wait. We'll wait for that. Next up, we have 3 Ancient Gear Catapult. If you control no monsters, target a spell trap you control that's face up, destroy it, and if you do, special summon an Ancient Gear from your main deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. This is usually how you'll be getting Golem out, and it's pretty good. It allows for a lot of pluses, and the only problem with it is that the only way it can be searched out is with a monster, and the only way it can be played is if you control no monsters, so that sucks. Ancient Gear Fortress. A card that when it first came out was great, and now that I've played with it for a little while, you just cannot play without this card. This is what allows you to make your plays in such a stun-heavy meta currently. If it's destroyed, special summon an Ancient Gear from hand or graveyard, but you can't special summon other monsters for the rest of the turn. And then the big one, your opponent cannot chain cards to the activation or effects of Ancient Gear cards. So if you have this on the field and your opponent chooses not to do anything with it, or, you know, against it, then you can just make your plays not have to worry. And if they do destroy it, you get a free special summon. So that's really nice. And it also provides targeting and destruction immunity to any Ancient Gear summoned the turn it's summoned. So this card just pulls so much duty, and it's amazing.
Duty?
Yeah, good for you, Austin. I mean, oh no. You know what I meant. Next up for the field spell stuff, you run 3 terraforming and 1 set rotation. Let me make one thing clear. If there were 3 set rotations on the ban list right now, you would play 3 set rotations. Set rotation is such an amazing card, and it's so unfortunate that it's at 1 now, but, you know, that's a story for the combo video.
I hate set rotation.
Next up, we have the destruction cards. 1 Dark Hole, because sometimes you want to destroy your stuff too, and then 1 Regeki.
It's totally real.
Because sometimes you just want to destroy your opponent's stuff too, and yes, it's very real. And then finally, we finish up with the rest of the True Draco stuff. We have 1 True King's Return, because if it's destroyed, it destroys a monster on the field. So being able to give your Masterpiece trap immunity and take care of your opponent's stuff is great. 2 Heritages. This is like
what was that?
Heritages.
Okay.
It's hard to say. This card is essentially more draw power and spell destruction all in one. And to end it up, we have 3 copies of Dragonic Diagram. Dragonic Diagram simply gets everything started and is one of the main reasons why these 2 archetypes work so well together. Alright. Finally, moving on to the extra deck, we have, let's start with the links. We only use 1 link monster, which is Mrs. Radiant. Because the deck has a lot of main deck beatdown with the True Kings and Reactor Dragon, and because you only really ever need 1 Ancient Gear monster to kill your opponent, links aren't that important in this deck, but sometimes you need 1 because you can make 2 extra deck monsters. Quillfort Genius, when that comes out, you also want to put that in here because it's also great. But it's not out, so for now, Mrs. Radiant will do. Next up, we have the Utopia Brigade. It's just really great, and you should have it. It gets over problem cards, and it even kind of fits with the motif of not letting your opponent activate effects during the battle step. Next up, we have a small little rank 4 toolbox with Tornado Dragon, Castell, Diamond Direwolf, and Baguska. Baguska's like the best stun card in the game. Castell gets rid of problems. Tornado Dragon can help every once in a blue moon. And Diamond Direwolf helps you get rid of your own monsters so you can use Catapult, as well as destroy your opponent's stuff. Last XC monster we're playing is True King of All Calamity. You don't go into him much anymore because you only play one Reactor Dragon. However, one of the extra deck monsters is a level 9, so every now and then you will go into him, and, well, I made a mistake. I said Baguska's the best stun card. He's the best stun rank 4. This is the best stun card in the game, in my opinion, as far as monsters go anyway. I think Lose a Turn is probably better, but that's neither here nor there. Now for the actual Ancient Gear part of the extra deck. You play 2 copies of Howitzer. You simply don't need to play any more or any less. If you play any less, you're an idiot. If you play any more, I mean, between Gear Town and Ancient Gear Fortress, you just don't need to be... You have plenty of ways to revive him if he dies. This is the Worker Ant of the deck. He burns, he's unaffected by everything, and he fetches Ancient Gear monsters directly from your deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. He's great, and he's easy to summon, considering you only need 2 Ancient Gear monsters to summon him. Next up is the good old Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. 4400 beater isn't too bad. Sometimes you don't have enough materials to make anything else, but the main reason why you play him is for the new boss monster, Megaton Ancient Gear Golem. Now, Megaton Ancient Gear Golem is interesting. It requires any 3 Ancient Gear cards, and for every Ancient Gear Golem or Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound you use to fusion summon for him, he can attack that many times per battle phase, and he's got 3300 attack. Because you can use cards from your deck or hand... Oh, that's the other thing. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Ancient Gear Fusion not only lets you use Ancient Gear cards from your deck, but in your deck in addition to your field or hand. So, if you have 3 Ancient Gear Golems somewhere, anywhere that's not your graveyard, and you control one and you activate Fusion, you can get this guy out with all 3 Golems, easy peasy, and he can attack for 9,900 damage. The other big thing is, if he's face up or moved from the field in any way, you can special summon this guy from your extra deck, ignoring his summoning conditions. So he's a 9,900 damage beater who can replace himself with this guy, which is never bad. I love this guy a lot. And then finally, you have 2 Ancient Gear Chaos Giants. When Quillfort Genius comes out, you will be taking one of these guys out to replace it with. You really do not need 2 of this guy. But, you know, it's not bad to have. There are occasions where you'll wish you had had a second copy, but those happens every 1 in 100 duels. And that will do it for the extra deck.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, MechMan.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. I know you guys love these things. And if you guys didn't know, MechMan is the dude behind Ancient Gear Duelist Facebook. I'll link it down below if you guys that are into Ancient Gears aren't in that group of Facebook, whatever that's called. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, I know MechMan and I will always be answering them. Yeah, I attentively look at the YouTube stuff. Ask me any question you want and I will answer it. I feel like there will probably be more questions when it comes to the combos video we hope to make, and if we don't, I guess you can edit this part out. But because there's a lot of problems that people have with timing, I'll make sure to explain that the best I can. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode, and thanks for watching. See ya!